Hello, my loves. Welcome back to Chemistry with Kismet Tarot. I am Monica, the Kismet Chemist. And today, instead of pulling cards, we are going to be talking about the super full moon in Aquarius. And the biggest reason I'm doing it this way today, first of all, is because when I tried to pull cards for everybody, my videos weren't working. It was something I had seen, but I had a lot of hesitance on. And when none of the videos worked, I decided maybe I should take a step back, reevaluate, see what the heck is going on, because this usually happens, during Mercury retrograde, or, if my guides have a message for me about changing things up. So we're changing things up. As you can tell, I know the camera quality isn't the best today. I am working directly from my laptop's camera, and I do have my microphone, but I don't have any of my software going on right now. So I do apologize if some of this is a little bit difficult. But what we're going to be talking about is this super full moon in Aquarius. This is the last super moon of 2022. And a super moon means that the moon is at perigee, or it is as close to the earth as it can get. It makes the moon hyper illuminated. Now, a full moon is when the sun's light hits the moon and then it's reflected back to the earth. So now we have this kind of divine illumination with our two luminaries, the sun and the moon, out in the skies. With the moon falling in the sign of Aquarius during this super full moon, it also is ending up conjunct, and the exact conjunction happens on the 12th, not tomorrow, but the day after the full moon happens on the 12th with Saturn, who is retrograded in the sign of Aquarius. All of these, interworkings have really blended together, and it doesn't escape my attention that the conjunction of the super moon, which will be out of the super phase of the super full moon, but still in that full moon phase, and Saturn's retrograde happens when Lionsgate closes. Now, this Lionsgate has been a lot of energy. I've been taking a lot of breaks, taking a lot of rest time during it, allowing the messages to flow through me as I open myself up to receiving them and opening myself up to new paths. Something that this moon really encompasses is learning how to recognize when our emotions are getting the better of us. Now, I'm someone who will always say that emotions are our superpowers. They are there and meant to help us progress. They tell us when something is not right for us. They tell us when there is healing that needs to occur. They tell us when we are shedding from ourselves something that we need to get out. Our emotions are so intricately interwoven into the fabric of our beings that they constitute a huge part of the human experience. And we are all meant to feel them. Today, which is the 10th, tomorrow, the 11th, and the 12th, we have this moon energy really very strongly. And when it is this strong, we have this hyper illumination, and especially with a super full moon, it's really, really bearing down on us to let ourselves feel into the things that we've been doing, the things that we have been engaging in, the reactions and the actions that we have been taking that have been true to ourselves or the ones that have been for other people, and to take steps, conscious steps, to make decisions that are right for us from the heart. As this full moon happens, there are so many different planets that are playing a role in the bigger picture. So what we're going to do is I'm going to pull out my Retrograde Guidebooks, and I am going to actually read for you guys the channeled messages for this full moon. Now, I do want to let you guys know, if these messages resonate, if they help, and you guys really are looking for more guidance, all of the retrograde guidebooks are available on Amazon, including Chiron's, which I am just going to be reading from my documents on my computer. But they are all now available both on paperback as well as ebook. If you have Kindle Unlimited, they are available to check out in the Unlimited store for free for you to read. I broke them down in this way because it was what I was guided to do, because it was like taking the whole of a puzzle and breaking it down into the pieces. Because some of us are more influenced by certain planets. Some of us are influenced by, say, the sun or the moon. I know I am considered moon dominant, but because in my chart, I have my sun in Cancer and my moon in Leo, what occurs with that is I have what's called mutual receptivity. So my Cancer and my Leo blend together. If I'm open to blending the energies instead of separating them, they blend together and they become pretty much the totality of the chart rulership. Even though everything kind of bows down to the moon then bows down to the sun. So everything in my chart essentially flows through my emotions, which then is presented to the outside world. I understand this about myself, so I know that when I track the moon phases, that's when I am the greatest in tune with myself, with my emotions, with my thoughts, with my body, with my path in life, because that's my primary focus. However, it doesn't benefit any of us if we focus on just one aspect of that, if we are dominated by another planet. So if another planet has rulership or another planet has more aspects, stronger aspects within the chart. You know, astrology has a lot of rules and a lot of regulations. I don't always follow all of them because I go with what my intuition calls me to. But I do know that some of us just genuinely identify with planets and their energies in a much stronger way. And we go through phases where we identify with planets, and then that phase ends and we identify with another planet. And that's a normal thing. That's part of the learning process. It's part of the growing process. So in the next sections, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the option. If you look in the timestamps in the description box below, you're going to see which guidebook, which retrograde guidebook I am taking the information from and talking about. And then from there, you can choose if you want to watch the whole of the video, because it's going to be a kind of lengthy video, or if you want to go to the planet that you know is more dominant or the one that you have less interaction with and want to have greater interaction with. Sometimes we get too focused on the dominant planet and we forget about the planets that aren't as strong. And so that planet can actually be pushed into the background. And it becomes sort of like our shadow side within our natal chart because we push it and push it and push it away because we're focusing on what the more dominant energy is. But we want full integration. We want to be a part of all of our energy instead of just one piece of our energy. So be really mindful as you pick what planets you want to listen to if you don't want to listen to the whole of the video, and allow for yourself to be led by your intuition, by your spirit guides, by spirit. Make this a collaborative learning moment for you guys. That was what I was asked to do here, was collaborate with my higher self. I have a hard time doing that at times because I'm very independent. It's how I am. I blame it on the Leo energy because, you know, Leos get so fixed in this is how it has to be in my way. But this was what I was asked, and this is where we're going to move forward from here. So without further ado, I do know I am going to be starting with Pluto's retrograde because that is the planet that is going to be going direct the soonest, and then move on from there in kind of the domino effect of the publication order as well. So I will see you guys either moving forward with all of the planets, or I will see you guys at your specific ones. I love you guys. Oh, and all right. Hi, guys. So this is the message about the super full moon from Pluto retrograded. So as Pluto is retrograding through Capricorn, I believe as of now, Pluto is actually in the 26th critical degree. I'd have to double check, but I'm fairly certain. But Pluto is not actually interacting directly with the moon during this phase. Pluto is actually interacting with Mercury. So Mercury is making a trioctile with Pluto. So I'm just going to read from the book. So if I'm not looking at you guys, don't be alarmed. It's just what I'm doing. And then we'll talk a little bit about it. So it says lessons, lessons, lessons. Okay, so I'm sitting here and the first feeling that washed over me was this clear cut, are we done with repeating lessons yet? Funnily enough, I took a break to check my email, make sure I had done my social media work for the day, check on the analytic data for my YouTube channel, and even contemplate whether I felt like it was a day to post a short on TikTok. Why does this matter? Well, let me be frank here with you guys. I check these things daily, and when I feel as though I am not making the right progress, I check again, wondering to myself how to communicate better, how to reach more people, and whether I am on the right path. All my internal alarms go off as soon as the last thought comes into my mind. Doubt. Virgo energy carries a level of analysis to it. It is a very intelligent energy and can be mentally deflective when the situation creates discomfort. That is what I experienced preparing myself to talk about outer communicative lessons with the world with you all. It was an inner manifestation of something I find conflicting with the outside world. Immediately, my brain shifted into an analytical modality, trying to decipher what tricks I could use in attempting to overcome. When Virgo meets with Capricorn energy, we can feel as though all the efforts we make are restricted or hindered. This is because no matter where in the sky Saturn is, we still feel his undercurrent of energy within Capricorn. Pluto, as the son of Saturn, is here to change how we see these two energies. Virgo wants to get into the nitty-gritty details of things, analyze it much like a scientist, and remove emotionality to it. Fear and doubt can become a trigger today as Mercury tries to assert his place in analyzing things with the outside world. I just heard a question, a concept, and something to consider today. Again, tied to mythology. It's all about what we choose to believe and what we choose to engage with. Now, there was a prophecy spoken to Saturn regarding his children. He was told someday he would be overthrown by his children. When he allowed fear and doubt to overtake him, he ate his children. This action caused a break in the love between him and Rhea or Ops, depending on the mythical story you are reading. It created deception from Ops or Rhea towards Saturn in order to protect her son. We could look at the actions of the wife and attempt to say she is the reason why the myth plays out when Zeus or Jupiter overtakes Saturn and takes the throne as the god of the gods. Or we could see that had Saturn chosen a path of love and acceptance, he could have instead raised his sons and daughters with love, teaching them and guiding them, and when the time came, peacefully stepped aside for the next generation to rule. He did not do this, and now he is immortalized in history and in our lives with his planetary placement. We learn lessons over and over and over again because we are being asked to work to change how we approach the same situations. When I checked my email prior to coming here to channel and share this energy with you all, I had an email from my very first Reiki master. Though I didn't read the email, I knew the subject line was what I was being asked to reflect on and communicate with you all. It said, "Have you ever heard of a groundhog year?" The groundhog had been a repeating theme in my daily life, with my eldest daughter telling me she is stuck in that energy all too often, or experiencing continual bouts of deja vu. Now, I'm not here to get into the esoteric side of all that, but the concept is applicable here, especially with Virgo energy. We come into lessons with the outer world time and again, and it can become heavy and burdensome. We can feel bogged down and truly soul deep exhausted when we find ourselves repeating the same thing over and over again. My husband and I tell our children all the time, repetition is the key to learning. And just yesterday, my daughter told me her school counselor said sometimes history has a way of repeating itself even when we know the lesson. I half agree with the teacher. We can know a lesson and then go through it again and again. Yet history is only repetitive if we refuse to learn from the lesson. Today is about allowing ourselves to truly learn and integrate the lessons, to see where we have been saying and doing the same things on repeat and undergoing the same situations. We know the lesson, we know what we are being called to change, but each one of us must make the choice to take action towards making the change. This is where Virgo and Capricorn work so gloriously together. We can combine here inner and outer lessons into a new way of communication. Try something different. Try a new way of listening to others and to spirit. Try a new way of speaking or try a new way of being in silence. There are many people focused, as I am writing this, on the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial. What I am interested in is the breakdown of expressions, behaviors, patterns of speech, and body language. It is in the nonverbal communications we find truths we may have been missing in order to fully integrate the lessons. Today we can do it differently. Today we get a Groundhog Day, a do-over, and an opportunity to more fully learn and integrate so we may become the change we wish to see in others. All right, so first thing that I'm going to talk about with this, because that was a lot of information to just kind of dump on you guys. So if you need to rewind it and rewatch it, go for it. But a trioctile is I believe it's 135 degree, fairly certain. Yeah, 135 degree. And it's represented by a square and an octile combined together. Now, square energy is tension between two planets. An octile is considered a minor aspect, but it's more of an internal energy. So Mercury making the trioctile with Pluto is actually the reason we're here doing this. It's about changing the way that we communicate. It's about changing the way that we talk about things, the way that we move in the world, but also the way that we communicate with ourselves. If we want to make true, genuine change within the world, we have to change within ourselves first. So how are you talking to yourself? Are you overanalyzing every action that you take? Are you analyzing taking a break, taking care of yourself? Are you analyzing how much service you do to others or do for others and wondering whether it's enough to make you enough? It's enough to make you worthy. If those are the things that your brain is constantly doing, and that's the cycle that you're stuck in, today is your Groundhog Day, or tomorrow, I'm filming this on the 10th, is your Groundhog Day. It's your day to change that. It's your day to realize, hey, this is a cycle. This is a thought pattern. This is a communicative pattern that I have been in for way too long. And now I am seeing how it actually causes strife and strain in me trying to move forward in my life. And I am ready to change that. When you think about Capricorn and Virgo energy, you have to go back and look at your natal chart. Find where they fall. These are natural house placements within the 6th and the 10th. The 6th for Virgo and the 10th for Capricorn. But that doesn't necessarily mean that these are the placements that they're going to have in your life. It is going to be the underlying energy within those houses, though. So say, for instance, you are a Capricorn rising. Pluto is, running amok in your first house. Pluto is literally making you the mouthpiece of transformation in the world if you listen to him and embrace his lessons. Otherwise, it's change for the sake of change, and the pressure, it gets to be too much. And this is why the body can break down, because who you are it's all tied together. So your self is tied to your body. With Virgo, it's very much about your body. It's about love. It's not just health. It's spiritual health, mental health, physical health, emotional health. All of those things fall within the 6th house. It is also about work and service. But we have to think about a sense of how we take care of ourselves, how we mother ourselves, how we love ourselves. Are we doing that because everybody in the spiritual community says that that's what we are meant to do? And so we're just engaging in these activities, but we're not really considering what activities we're engaging in. Are we loving ourselves as we're nurturing our bodies? Are we telling ourselves, oh, I'm just doing this because I need a self-care day? Or are we doing this because my skin needs moisture because it's thirsty and I can recognize that? So I am going to give my skin what it needs. It's small changes, small communicative changes with your body, with your emotions, with the world that make all the difference. This right here, what we're doing right here, this is a huge communicative change for me because I don't have any cards. I'm on camera again, which I said I wasn't going to do, but you know what? When you're working with Uranus's retrograde guidebook, it's kind of like chaos and change is what you do. So here I am. I know the energy I'm in, so I know that it's going to bring in a lot of change for me, and I'm ready for it. I'm jumping into it. With Pluto, Pluto wants us to transform. Pluto is represented by the Judgment card. That is the trumpeting of the horn, the call for you to realize where you have been neglecting certain things, where you've been repeating certain things, and hear yourself. And I just saw 11:11 on my clock. Hear yourself. Literally tune in a new way. Mercury is always working to help us communicate, to bring messages from spirit here, to bring messages through channels like myself out into the collective. There are unlimited ways that the universe communicates with us. I spoke about this in my Lionsgate portal energy reading, where I talked about how the universe was speaking through katydids in my yard and grasshoppers and bunnies and this and that, and even through my new puppy Willow, speaking to me about abundance, about inner abundance, about seeing the beauty within the world and embracing oneself. But it was a different kind of communication. And it takes some time and repeating that before you are able to recognize it. With this illumination from the moon and Pluto and Mercury working together to help us understand new ways of communication, we're able to see how the sun and the moon are illuminating our emotional communication. That's important to remember. So the advice that I can give you guys today is, if you're looking for a new beginning, if you're here and you're looking for a new beginning, you're looking for a way to break out of that groundhog energy, listen to spirit. Check in with spirit. Be more mindful, be more silent. Look at the nonverbal communication occurring all around you and allow spirit in to help guide you. Spirit can't take the steps for us that we need to take, but he definitely, or she, or it, or they, however you view it, definitely is always there to help guide us. We can feel like we're in the middle of a maze a lot of the time. And a lot of the time, the energy really supports that. I know with all these retrograded planets, if you're not native to a lot of retrograde energy, it can be very disorienting. That doesn't mean that there isn't a lesson within it. That doesn't mean that you can't work with the energies, and it doesn't mean that spirit is not helping you every step of the way. You're never alone. You're never abandoned. And if you want a new beginning, or you want to take a step forward into the beginning that you've already created, the best way to do that is to stop being reactive to your environment and start pulling back, listening, getting silent, and hearing what spirit is talking about. All right. So we are going to move on from Pluto. If you are here just for Pluto and this resonated with you, please feel free to like this video, share it out, subscribe to my channel, notifications, you know, the whole kit and caboodle. Everything that you guys do really does support my channel, and it really does support me on my journey. So it is greatly appreciated and a wonderful exchange of energy. And going forward, we are going to be moving on to Saturn. So I will see you guys there. Hello, my loves. If you are here to check in with Saturn and the conjunction between the moon and Saturn, let's get into it. So I'm just going to be reading directly from my Saturn Retrograde Guidebook of 2022, and then we will talk about this aspect. So we're actually going to pop a day forward. We're going to August 12th because that's when the exact aspect occurs. However, we're still in that full moon energy as the aspect is occurring. So August 12th with the full moon in Aquarius conjunct Saturn in Aquarius. Last month, we experienced a similar conjunction, only the full moon energy was beginning to transition into the disseminating moon, with a calling for a sort of release. Today, we are within the peak, which occurs on the 11th, and it is the moon phase fully falling within the sign of Aquarius. Every zodiac season, we see a new moon of that season with a full moon in its opposite sign. This helps us to understand how the cycles flow for the collective, but also within our own lives. In this case, we had a new moon in Leo, which allowed us to consider how we wanted to work to bring more of our personal styling of creative self-expression more fully into our lives. As the moon moved through Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, and Capricorn, teaching us through these signs and houses about how we are to incorporate those emotional energies into this new beginning we have been desiring, we are now coming into Aquarius. As the moon and Saturn blend together once more, we are aligning our emotions with our dreams and goals, knowing our wealth within will be reflected outwardly because we have learned through the energy about what we need to change, find balance within ourselves and interactions, bring forth in our working world through practical applications, and truly believe through focused aim on our goals. It may seem like a lot like a crash course through the signs, which is common with the rapid transits of the moon, but it is a perfect representation of emotional energy flowing and flooding our beings all the time. Today is a day to consider how we are more able to fully embrace the emotional aspects of the human condition. We are here for a short time. Despite all perception, it is really just a blink of an eye to the cosmos. We are meant to live this life to the absolute fullest, which includes embracing and understanding and working with our emotions. The more you embrace the experience of being human in the physical world, the more the physical world embraces the fullness of who you are. The main message here is be you, be all of you. Infuse your hopes and dreams with the truest essence of your heart and soul. You are as worthy as you believe yourself to be. And when you trust in this in yourself, the world responds in kind. I would love to be like, you know what? After reading Pluto's, which took about 6 minutes, Saturn's was nice, short, and sweet. Except Saturn's is the one that really, really genuinely challenges us internally. Saturn is coming in and saying, the way that the world works around you, the way that the world responds to you is based entirely on how you work internally and how you respond to the world and how you respond to yourself. Saturn, we think about as the karmic planet, the father of karma, but he is here to teach us about cause and effect. Karma is neither good nor bad. It is literally the cause and effect of every action, inaction, reaction we take in the world. And everyone in the world has the same energy going on in their own lives. And when we interact with another person, then that is how we end up with what we call karmic ties, because we are now acting and reacting based off of someone else's actions and reactions. And we have to work to essentially disengage and detangle those two from each other to see where our energy is versus where their energy is, how we can move forward, and whether that is a, acceptable or suitable or healthy interaction to maintain and continue with. Now, with Saturn in Aquarius, I I used to work with human design a lot and with the gene keys a lot, and then I stopped working with them for quite a while. Now I'm back to it. We're talking about the revolution, the rebirth within all of us. We are talking about moving out of reactionary behaviors and into a behavior that is healthy and more beneficial for everyone and everything. In order to get to this point of not being reactionary, or at least I don't want to even say not being reactionary, because we are human and we are not meant to detract or diminish the human experience. So human beings are reactionary. We're reactionary. But when something happens and we react emotionally, what we can do instead, and what Saturn is helping us learn by blending these energies together as the Lionsgate portal closes, so that this is where we're learning and we're moving forward into a new cause and effect relationship with our emotions by embracing this energy. What we can do is we can take a step back, take a breather, and say, okay, what is it that is triggering me? What was said? What was done? How am I triggered? What am I feeling? And when you get into that state, that you're asking yourself these questions, now you're bringing greater self-awareness in. When you bring that greater self-awareness in, then you can say, is this how I want to continue having this interaction? More often than not, you're going to find that someone said something about something to someone or whatever it is, and it's going to have nothing to do with you. It may be projected at you, but it won't have anything to do with you. Or someone says something to you that triggers you, but the trigger point is actually not about the person. It's about something internal that is saying, I need you to look at me. I need you to give me your time. Give me your focus, because this is where the healing needs to happen. When you allow yourself to realize that your reactionary behavior, your reactionary emotions are being triggered, when you find that wound, it's in those moments that you say, this is something I can heal. This is something I can love. This is something I can nurture. This is something that I can work on, because I have hope, because I still hold on to my dreams, because I know I am worthy of being whole and healed. I know that I am whole, but there are still pieces of me that don't see that. Those are the pieces that I need to look at. Those are the pieces that I need to integrate. Those are the pieces I need to embrace, to love, to nurture, to mother, to father, to parent, to give, to show myself and these pieces that I love them, because I love me and I love all of me. That is how you are working with Saturn and with the moon, and consequently the sun, because all these, the two luminaries are both interplaying in this. You're putting your pride aside and you're helping heal through embracing those internal pieces that need expression. You're allowing them to be expressed in ways that they haven't been able to before. And when you do that, you actually create a cause and effect out into your life that really ripples outward, that shows the planets, it shows spirit, it shows the universe, it shows the cosmos that, hey, I recognize that I am still experiencing this human experience. I am in this human life and I have these emotions and these triggers, but I'm going to feel them, I'm going to see them, and I'm going to see me, which means that when you do that, when you take that time to really look at yourself, to hear yourself, and to nurture yourself, when you come forward into the world, when you are ready to channel all of that back outward through the sun, out into the world, using your own unique creative self-expression, because that's what the sun in Leo loves to do, is be seen and be heard. Now you're doing it from a place of gentleness, of kindness, of love, of self-compassion, of empathy, and of knowing that there are others in the world who could learn from what you have just learned. Now you are doing that whole pay it forward kind of notion. You're taking a lesson, you're incorporating it, integrating it, and then embodying it so others can learn. That's what I'm here doing. So that is the message from Saturn and the moon going forward. I want to say thank you so much. If you're just here for Saturn, or if you listen to both Pluto and Saturn and don't plan on sticking around for the other two, thank you so much for being here. I love you guys. Please feel free to like this video, share it with anybody who you might feel could be helped. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, because every interaction that I have on my channel really does help my channel grow. It helps messages get out there, and it is a beautiful exchange of energy for the energy that I put forth into this. So I love you guys all. Thank you again. If you're sticking with me, I will see you at Neptune. Mwah. Around for the other, and take care. Hello, my loves. So we obviously have a change of venue here going on. I apologize for how kind of chaotic this video may seem, but as I mentioned, I believe it was in Saturn, I am working through Uranus's retrograde guidebook right now, which means that I am in constant chaotic energy, and I am currently working on making sure that I am still following my guidance while in the midst of this, which I'm telling you guys right now before we jump into Neptune, that this is actually the way that I work when I interact with all of these books. I had to take a break between Saturn and Neptune in order to go and pick my son up from his visitation with his father. When we got back, we had Willow in a pop-up kennel for the first time, and she was beside herself, and she needed some extra attention. I had to take my laundry out and make my bed and get the laundry going again. I've got kids in 2 rooms away that are screaming and playing video games. Got a daughter upstairs who's doing chores like crazy. So this is how my life is usually. But today just kind of has more of a chaotic tone to it. I understand the meaning of it, but I wanted to explain it to you guys just so that you know, because this is not my normal setup. But without further ado, let's get into Neptune's guidebook for this super full moon in Aquarius. So Neptune is actually interacting with 2 planets. Neither one of them are the moon for this. It is the Sun in Leo, which is making a biquintile with Neptune in Pisces. That's a 144-degree aspect. And Mars in Taurus, which is making a sextile or a 60-degree aspect with Neptune in Pisces. So this is what the message is. I'm just going to read it from the book, and then we'll talk about it afterwards, and I will channel the messages that are any addition to this. So we are going to be floating into the aspects today in the utmost beautiful ways. Venus is at the very end of Cancer today, and her energy at this anaretic degree is ruling Mars's energy. If you know astrology well, or even if you are one who has looked into some of the unique factors such as critical degrees and anaretic degrees, or the 29th degree of any zodiac sign, you know that there are a lot of sources out there saying this is about upheaval and changes. While I do know this is one perspective, and I'm trying to actually take a lot of care with my wording here, for everyone has their own interpretation of the energies when they learn and interact with them. To me, this is not what it seems based on the words upheaval and change. Today, Venus's placement, still carrying with her the alignment energy from the 7th, is lending this ease and harmony to Mars and Taurus. This is important for our awareness because Mars and the Sun are feeling some tension as they come into a square. Venus is the icebreaker for this tension, and Neptune is helping both the energies swirling within us and the collective to find a calm, compassionate, loving way of moving forward. I'm picking up a mothering energy from Neptune today, which is quite surprising to me considering it is Venus residing in the sign of the Divine Mother of the Zodiac. The Sun in Leo answers to no one. And with the Sun as the center of our solar system, as well as the planet which defines the boundaries based on his path in the sky, he's going to be more unshakable than ever. This kind of energy is the reason there are people who come off egotistical. There is a difference between moving from an unbalanced ego and moving from a place of honoring the self. With Mars in Taurus making that tension today with the Sun, what we are driving forward with bringing into our physical world can become a battle of the ego versus the heart. Yet, as I have said before, I'm beginning to feel as though I will be making a lot of references to earlier information, and it is Janus's energy tied to Neptune we have to think for the well-rounded perspectives and messages. Venus is helping us to realize the energy of alignment. It is all down to our emotions today. Neptune has us thinking about how we find divine help and protection, how we care and nurture ourselves and others, and how we connect to the divine. The upheaval and change from Venus, lending energy to Mars, who is flowing easily with Neptune, and the visions we have for ourselves, is bringing through a beautifully collaborative energy to help us stay firm in our self-confidence while remaining vulnerable and softened. I am once more being shown first the Nemean lion with his impenetrable skin, and then to Simba and his refusal to return, but it was love which brought him back. There is an emotional release I am feeling with this energy, and I am being shown flowers blooming and birds chirping, and I can hear music playing softly while someone is humming. There is just a peaceful, energetic door here to help us understand. We may sometimes feel that tension and challenge to our determination. Sometimes it comes from outside of ourselves, sometimes from inside ourselves. For those who are passionate about what they do, working many hours and working to make sure they are able to pay the bills and take care of their responsibilities, there can be moments in time in which you forget to let loose and relax. At the same time, once you do that, you can also find yourself wanting to bring more of those moments in, and then the guilt of relaxing instead of working may enter in. Don't feel bad if you feel as though I'm calling you out right now, because I'm an entrepreneur and content creator, self-published author, but also a wife and mother, and have a home and pets and many things on my plate. I know this message today is as much for me as it is for the collective. Greater balance can be found today and moving forward if we do not try to harden ourselves to our need to have fun, to play, to laugh, to relax, to do the things we love, and be around the people we love. Venus is helping us to release the lingering vestiges of the emotional, ancestral, and childhood wounds we have been working on healing since Cancer season started and Neptune went retrograde. Today, I encourage you to take time out to sit with your emotions, to allow for the splinters remaining to work their ways out of you. For I can feel they are ready now for you to see them and know they were always being healed through the help of spirit. Let yourself feel anything you need to feel and then release it all. Release yourself from the bounds of guilt you aren't meant to keep carrying. Give yourself and others grace and acceptance and set an intention. Whether you write it down and burn it, journal it, or simply speak it into a prayer or conversation with spirit, it is a perfect energetic day to set the intention for an emotional reset. Remember, all things flow in the time they are meant to. But when you are working with these energies and you have become familiar with what Venus has been showing us and teaching us, you will feel it, you will know. Whatever it is you are going through, whatever you are feeling, you are not wrong, have not been wrong, and nothing was a mistake. You have become who you are today because of the love and strength you carry within. You have always done the best you have been able at any point in time. Forgive yourself today and let the past heal, so you will more fully move from a place in which you no longer feel as though you have to pick every piece of yourself over with a fine-tooth comb to be perfect. Because to me, darling, you already are. A big message coming through today before we move into the next energies is about humanity and our nature. Humans are fallible, just as companies, buildings, and societies are fallible. We take actions and speak words, and sometimes those hurt others or ourselves. We don't always know what we are doing nor where we are going. And you know what? That is okay. It is okay. You have had high moments and low moments, but you are still here, still seeking help, guidance, awareness, and forward progress from your heart. Love yourself more fully today. Forgive yourself for the past. Release others from blame. Release yourself from shame and guilt. And above all, ask Spirit to move with you and through you as you undergo this transition point. You are learning the beautiful art and blessing that is emotional mastery, empathetic strength, and deep soul purpose. You are where you are meant to be and do not need to worry yourself with doing the wrong thing or not impressing anyone today. It is okay. This message was from Neptune, that mothering energy coming in strong for us all. So that ends the transit notes or breakdown for Neptune's retrograde interactions during this super full moon. If you've been carrying with me throughout from Pluto on, you'll see this theme, this energy, and how it plays out in a multitude of ways. A lot of this has to do with healing wounds, breaking patterns, breaking cycles, understanding that we're doing the best that we can. I mean, obviously, I attributed the chaos and the change of venue and all the noise and all the chaos that's going on in the background right now to me working on Uranus's retrograde guidebook. But after I finish channeling these, oftentimes I don't remember. So I myself refer back to these books during these times so that I can get reacquainted with the energy as I'm in it. And it always helps me realign. But you know what? Right before I came down here and got all set up, I actually stepped out on my deck and I didn't have shoes on because I was taking Willow out to go to the bathroom. And I had a splinter in my foot. And it's no coincidence that happened right before I read this passage. It's no coincidence that I talk about all the things that I have on my plate, all the things that are going on, and about having to understand that you don't always have to be perfect. You don't always have to be at the top of your game. Spirit is working in some really unusual ways right now with me. And I am leaping blindly into doing all of this with you guys, into sharing all of this with you guys. And I'm doing that because sometimes even I, or especially I, get caught up in that perfectionist energy of wanting to make sure that I am presenting my messages with picket cards or collective readings in exactly the way that I think that other people need. But what other people need are the messages. It's less about the appearance right now than it is about the messages. If we go back and we think about this is a full moon in Aquarius, and this is in opposition to the sign of Leo. Leo is the sign that wants to shine in the world, but they are also like, their Achilles heel essentially is fear. They want to be seen. They want to be seen, excuse me, in a specific light. Aquarius helps break free of that and show you that the light that you should be seen in, that the world is meant to see you in, is the light of the true you. Okay, I had to pause it so I could cough. I swallowed wrong or something. But if you don't feel today or during this full moon phase, if you don't feel that you are ready to embrace that cupbearer energy, that pouring out energy, pouring out of whatever, if you're still working your way through the emotions, allow yourself to do that. And know, especially with Neptune in retrograde, there is that big call to give yourself compassion, to give yourself empathy, to allow yourself to understand that you can slow down, that you can rest, that you can take care of yourself. Even if you're in a situation like mine, you have a life like mine where you're a mom, you are a pet mom, you're a wife, you have a home, and you have a business, and you have all of these things that you have to take care of. It's okay to take a step back. It's okay to say, okay, I'm going to prioritize what I need to prioritize because of what really matters in life. It's up to you and your heart to tell you what really matters in life. I can't tell you that. Spirit can't tell you that, because spirit knows your soul, but your everyday life is something that you're here to experience. And you can ask spirit for guidance, but it's up to you to make the decisions and to take the actions. And that comes back to Saturn with making new choices, with breaking free of those patterns and those cycles of repetitive everything, the whole groundhog thing. With Neptune working with the sun, working with Mars, with Venus sitting at this anaretic degree, and Venus ruling Mars right now, everything falls back in. It's this amalgam of planets right now. So the chaos that you're feeling is there to help you understand that you can heal the emotional upheaval that you're feeling through mothering yourself, through embracing Mother Earth. Get out in nature, get grounded, do what you need to do to really get in touch with divine mothering energy, divine nurturing feminine energy. Air signs are masculine signs in nature, and Venus is deeply, deeply ingrained in this mothering energy while she's in Cancer. She wants you to be softer. She wants you to value yourself the way that you value your children or your spouse or your partner or your significant other or your pets or anything else in your life. She wants you to value yourself as highly as you are valued within the cosmos. So that is where we are going to leave off with Neptune, and I'm going to move on to Chiron. So if you are leaving me here, I want to say thank you so much for being here. If this resonated, please hit the like button, share it with anybody that you feel might be helped by this, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. I do want to say that every like, share, subscribe, comment that I get really does help support my channel, and it is a great energy exchange, and I truly appreciate all the support you guys always have given me and continue to give me. It makes me so happy. So thank you so much. So if you are going to stick around, we are going to move on to Chiron right now. I love you guys. Hello, my loves. If you chose Chiron's Retrograde Guidebook, or you have been with me for the entirety of this video, we are going to dive in. This is the one guidebook I don't actually have in physical form because it literally just published on Lionsgate 8.8, and it is available in the Kindle store, ebook, and paperback. I have my Kindle app pulled up on my phone here, so I am going to read it out for you. So on August 11th, which is the full moon, we have the full moon in Aquarius, which is making a sextile with Chiron in Aries. So this is the message. I'm just going to read it from here, and then I will channel any further messages that I get afterwards. So I have said repeatedly, albeit mostly in my other guidebooks, that I will not lie to you all when I come to some challenging aspects, energies, and days we are working our way through collectively. The reason I am bringing this up today is because the energies today are those of the utmost challenging in the skies. The full moon is pulling us all, asking for us to see more about what challenges we are feeling in the area of our hopes and dreams, wishes, and the cause and effect of the actions or inactions we take in our lives. Today, there is a lot of tension in the skies, but the moon itself is the focus with the collective. Chiron is helping to ease the healing we are seeking within ourselves, as well as within our connections with others. We are being gifted with a karmic rebalancing today as the moon is conjunct Saturn retrograding in the sign of Aquarius. I apologize. We are working through 4 astrological houses and 2 different signs' energies today. What we want to think about is how we have been shaped by our childhood, and in particular in regard to our friendships, communities, and the lessons we have learned about the possibilities before us in the world. Have we grown up being supported and encouraged to follow the paths of our hearts, those dreams we have held tightly to throughout our lives, with the internal promise that we will make it there someday? I wasn't brought up in a nurturing environment. It wasn't a home which told me I was capable of making and doing whatever I dreamed of in my life. In school, I was encouraged to think about what I wanted to be when I grew up in terms of traditional work. Art and creativity were hobbies in which we were told what we were meant to create without being given much creative freedom. All these truths of my life I have had to work to heal from me. Heal through embracing the fears of not surviving nor being safe and stable if I were to live the fullness of the creative's life. What dreams I held through my whole life had everything to do with the desire to heal others, to teach others, and to write. All these things I have been doing since I gave myself the permission and encouragement to embark upon. Today is a day in which you are asked to think about your own experiences in your youth, the ways in which you learned of your own personal potential, and the ways in which you considered how you might be able to move through your life. Not all were raised as I was. Some were given more freedoms than not. And through the healing you are doing, you are learning self-discipline. This moon is aiding you in healing this as well, thanks to the help from Saturn. We have to realize at some point in our lives and along our journeys that we are meant to learn more about ourselves through the ways in which we were raised and conditioned. I have come to understand the beauty of hindsight time and again, and today is a day in which utilizing the pure vision of hindsight enhances our healing. It isn't always an easy journey, looking into our past and viewing our wounds. Despite the fact it isn't always easy, the freedom and lessons, the healing and awareness found through this action is more than worth it. I encourage all of you to understand through becoming more aware of the fact that the people who taught you and raised you genuinely did the best they were able, even if it doesn't seem that way. You hold the strength within you to grow and learn through being fully aware. Now, here's where the message gets a little bit more challenging for me, because I already had the whole download as I was reading that. A little bit of a back information. Chiron was discovered, I believe it was 1953. I'd have to double check my notes. But when Chiron was discovered, the benefit of these moments is that we can pull a discovery chart for the planet based off of the location of the discovery, the time of the discovery, and the date of the discovery. I have Chiron's discovery chart in this book. This gives us another view into Chiron's underlying purpose here. What is Chiron here to help us learn, help us heal? Not just on the collective level where we look at the traditional houses and aspects, but in terms of Chiron's, so to speak, personal mission. Aries for Chiron is in the 5th house, and it contains the Imam Koli, or the lowest point in the sky, those deep ancestral inheritances, but also wounds. And it also has the South Node for Chiron's chart, which is the past. Which means as Chiron moves through Aries, these are primary focuses that he is helping us heal And then we look in terms of the first house, the house of the self. Where Aries falls in your chart is going to dictate what more specific area this impacts. And a lot of this comes down to that creative self-expression, because Aries is in the 5th house for Chiron. So we have the 1st and the 5th house. Now for me, Aries falls in my 9th house, which means that I have all the fire houses right now being addressed by Chiron. I have had to come to terms with a lot of my belief systems, not just about myself, but about astrology, about divination, about psychic gifts, about mediumship, all these things that I love, that I am passionate about. I have had to heal from me belief systems I was raised in and find a way to bridge my awareness and my beliefs now with the family dynamics and the love that I have for my family, even if it means that there are aspects of me that I know will not be fully accepted by them. I have had to work to heal that out of me. I've had to work to heal religious trauma out of me. It's a really difficult topic, but spirit comes in and the planets work so beautifully together to help us heal these things. Chiron is helping us heal these things because Chiron wants us to learn how to express the wounds that we have had in a way that can help heal others. A lot of what I do has everything to do with Chiron's energy. It has everything to do with self-examination, self-reflection, self-awareness, healing those things, accepting the things, finding peace in moments where I normally wouldn't, or I wouldn't in the past, and then learning how to do that over and over and over again as my triggers are activated, as moments come up that challenge the growth that I have had thus far. And as I work through that, then I am able to more confidently come forward and express these things to you so that you know that this is possible. You know, that song, Anything You Can Do, I Can Do Better, is playing in my head. I want you to think about that in terms of when you come to a tarot reader, or when you are watching a spiritual teacher or someone who has healed and are teaching others to heal. If you watch and you feel as though I'll never get to that point, what I'm hearing is sing that to yourself. It's very childlike. It's something that we learn in childhood, you know, anything you can do, I can do better. So think of it that way. Healing isn't meant to be a competition, but I'm seeing the 5 of Wands right now. And it's kind of like, challenge yourself to see that you can surpass the limits that you're putting on your own healing. You have more power to heal, and you have more divine help right now in the skies than you realize. Like I said in Chiron's Retrograde Guidebook, the charts, when you pull up this super full moon chart, it's red. It's all red. Like there are very minimal softer aspects. Chiron is making one of those softer aspects. When we are aware of the softer energies, they're more subtle. They help us trust in the process. And that was a message I got last night as I was sleeping. It was this trust in the process, trust in the subtleties. Trust in the small moments, in the things that you would normally see as unimportant or unimpactful. Trust in those, because those are the moments that really change you and change your life. And when you realize that, you come into this state of everything matters. And if everything matters, then you matter. And now my ears are ringing like way more. If everything matters, then you matter. And if everything matters that much more, because now you're paying attention to those subtle moments, those small moments, those brief moments, and you're feeling those brief moments, they become bigger. So if you have, say, you're in the middle of a rainstorm, and what I'm seeing is like the sky is just so dark, and there's lightning striking, and it's just this deluge of rain. And then all of a sudden everything parts and the sun comes through, and it lasts maybe 5 minutes, and then the clouds close back in and everything starts again. We can look at this as, oh, that was a real brief moment, thanks. Or we can look at it as, I got a break from the rain and I soaked in the sun, and I am able to hold it in and harness all of that energy because I was paying attention to it. And I know what it feels like. And once I know how that joy, how that freedom, how that alleviation feels, then I can harness that feeling and tap back into it in the times where it feels like there is so much rain and so much downpour and so many storms that I can't get out of it. There is a lot of tension and a lot of things that feel up in the air. A lot of that has to do with Uranus in Taurus. A lot of it has to do with our perception. A lot of it has to do with the time we are living and the things going on in the world and the things that we are being called to heal that we cannot continue ignoring anymore. We all are here because our souls chose to be here during this time. And it is in that truth that your guides, your higher selves, spirit, the angels, archangels, ancestors, ascended masters, like the entirety of the spiritual realm are asking you to understand. It was your soul that was called during this time. It was your soul that took up the sword and the mission to come here during this time, to do the things that you're doing, because it's only through your soul that they can be done. You have more power within you than you think. And if you sit and allow this illumination to come in, allow yourself to feel that hope, to feel those wishes re-arise, reawaken, and allow yourself to understand that you are the one chosen to do the things that you want to do. And they're there because you're meant to do them. It can feel scary hearing you're the chosen one. You're meant to do this. It can feel scary when you're starting out, when you're midway through. Even if you're 3/4 of the way through and you're just tiring out, it can be really scary. I know, because I've been it. I've done it. No one else writes the guidebooks the way that I write them. And it wasn't something that I can even explain to you. It didn't feel like a choice. It just felt like exactly what I was meant to do and exactly the way that I was meant to do it. And everything just flowed from me. Even sitting here and going through all these aspects with you guys, it amazes me to see how they flow together, how they work together, and how they work together for us, for our benefit, for our growth. I am never one to believe that the planets are just there, that astrology is just that structure. I believe that they are sentient as much as we are, that they have a soul just as much as we believe that Mother Earth has a soul. I believe 100% that they're here to help us, to teach us, to help us grow, to help us change so that we can live a better life in a better world. Yes, I'm idealistic. It's in my nature, but I believe that so firmly, so firmly. And it's through that I work with them. I collaborate with the stars. How terrifying can you imagine doing collaborations with planets? Because it feels right to you, because you know that it's the path that you're meant to take, but it doesn't make sense to you. Your logical mind can't make sense of it. In my childhood, I was told, and even as recently as in 2020, I was told,
if I were to continue with astrology, I was damning my soul. That's what I've had to heal, to accept my gift with communing with the stars, to accept the passion that I have for astrology. It took me 2 years to get here, to be able to share this with you all. 2 years, but I'm still here and I'm still sharing it. And I'm having major deja vu. But it has taken me that long to accept all of this. It doesn't matter how long it takes you. It only matters that you give yourself grace and compassion, that you allow the healing to happen, and that you see that you have more help than you realize. This moon is ushering in the end of Lionsgate portal this year. And like I talked about in the collective reading, it is about balance and harmony. It is about moving from unconditional love, not just towards others, but towards ourselves. But the other factor is that I'm feeling right now is this feeling of unconditional love from the spiritual realm that we sometimes forget because we get too ingrained in this day-to-day life that we live. I could have seen all of this as being stopped, obstacles in my way to tell me it's not right to do so, or I could adjust and allow the messages to flow, because this is what being a channel in a day-to-day life looks like for me. I go out to the grocery store and I do a psychic reading accidentally, unintentionally, but I feel called to it, so I do it. Spirit comes and speaks to you in so many ways. The cosmos speak to all of us continually in so many ways. When you choose to see things from the light of divine unconditional love always coming in for us, it is one of the most healing waters that can wash over you. The planets and Chiron especially are helping you see that. It's okay to be yourself outside of your childhood, outside of that conditioning. It's okay. It's okay if you aren't okay. It's okay if you need to scream, if you need to yell. Whatever you are feeling is okay. Let yourself feel it. Let yourself flow through it. Because what you're doing is going to help you, your family, your ancestry, your soul family, starseed family, the spiritual realm, and the earth, and everyone in the world. Even if you don't see it in the moment, it is helping. You are changing the world by changing yourself. And you don't have to focus on how to bring it forth. If you are meant to, it'll come when the time is right. Right now, just know that what you're doing is changing the world, because you're the one with the power to do so. Okay, so those are the messages. If this resonated, please hit the like button. You can share it with anybody that you feel might be helped by this. Hit that subscription button so that you follow my channel and the notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. Every like, comment, share, subscribe that I get on my channel really helps promote my channel. It helps my analytic data, but it also helps me, and it helps spirit reach more people. So it's a beautiful exchange of energy, and I am ever so grateful every time that I receive any kind of comment, like anything. I really am. You guys are my family, and I am eternally grateful for you for being here. So thank you so much. I want to say thank you to my guides, to your guides, to our higher selves, to spirit, to the cosmos, to the planets, for all of these amazing messages. And I wish you guys the absolute most profoundly healing, illuminative, super full moon in Aquarius. And may your dreams come into your reality. And may you know that the hope that you've been holding on to was not in vain. I love you all. I will see you next time. Bye.